So, we're almost in Mercury in retrograde, so that can happen. So hopefully you guys will see it. Just a few minutes. Yes, I hope, let me know. Good that you can see me. Nice. Thank you, Roberta. Woo! It's funny because you guys had me go black before I saw me go black. So you know how that goes. So we are, heading into Mercury, which can impact our electronic devices. So I'm reminding my own self to call in Mercury and asking for, his open communication with me and the elders today so that we can share the stuff with you. Let's see who else is here. All right. So let me poke my head through. So Tina is here. Neshi is here. Roberta is here. Susanna is here. Trisha is here. And Christine is here. Julie is here. Lindsay, June is here. Judy, good morning. Franny, yes, Mercury in retrograde. Aren't they fun? So thank you guys for, putting up with the shenanigans that, I think the energy sometimes of the planets reminds us, how small we are and how much we really can create shifts for other people by simply, calling our energy in. So we've given a lot of power to Mercury when Mercury's in retrograde. And so that sort of happens sometimes on a planetary level. So again, today is all about the ancient Egyptians and healing with their Akashic energy. Oh, I love this, Neshi. I accept all the gifts of the Mercury retrograde and release anything less than a gift. Nice. I like that. I think that will be a big thing. So yes, and thank you for sharing and loving the live stream because boy, we can use all the love energy we can get. So the ancient Egyptians, a lot of people feel a connection to their energy or feel drawn to some of, the Egyptian things that are out there, whether you connect with certain symbols or certain deities, or just that the pyramids sort of stir your soul when you see them. But the ancient Egyptians had a philosophy that really talked about ascension. And ascension to them meant being able to transcend their body and to basically live life everlasting. And some of it had to do with, paying homage to the gods that they worshipped at the time. And some of it had to do with personal growth and personal work. And that was the role of the priests and the priestesses of the temples, was to dedicate years and years and years of finding ways to elevate their vibration. And, people are like, what does that have to do with this now? Well, noticing how much the Egyptian energy is coming into force, how much I had on my Facebook feed this morning a bunch of different feeds that had like Egyptian jewelry, with the Ankh sign or the Eye of Horus. There's tapestries, there's clothes out there. And it was like, wow, it's really back sort of prevalent again in the energy. And it's because as the earth vibration is shifting, we're sitting in the middle of that vibration. And there was a time that we resonated with that energy. And some of us, have a remembrance of experiencing that vibration in Egyptian times, especially if we were connected to any of the temples or the gods or the goddesses. Because just being in those places that were dedicated to elevating their vibration, it sort of vibrated through the whole structure, which is really cool. And so what does that have to do with the Akasha? So many people hear about the Akashic records through people who do work with angels. Makes perfect sense, right? Because the angels are on a higher or fuller vibrational dimension than we are. So they can get us closer to that energy by connecting with them and asking for their help. The Egyptians would call on their deities to help with that. One in particular was Thoth, which is Thoth. And you're starting to see a reemergence of people's connection to Thoth. There are a lot of oracle decks. There are a lot of oracle cards that are connected to his energy. And his name is popping up in a lot of sacred geometry teachings. I had an experience where, I was working on, gathering text for my mystery school, Trinity School of Mystical Energy Healing. And I was teaching about the usage of the sacred geometry, the forms and the shapes and what they do when you call them into the body and use them for healing purposes. Sounds a little complex. It's part of my third year program. But when you're able to really keep your own energy clear, you're able to really sense and see and connect to sort of a higher frequency that these symbols show up in. Yes, thank you, Nashi. Thoth is also known as Hermes, right? Because some people may connect to the energy through that. And that's one of the things that my spiritual team talks about a lot is depending on the culture, you would have named the vibration something in particular. So it's like the energy appeared in a way that the culture could connect with it. So there's probably 100 other names too. I don't get real specific with names usually because I just sense the color and the frequency, and I know it's fuller and brighter than what I am. So I'm like, sure, help me with that. So when you are thinking about the Akasha is a collection of energy that holds all of your vibrations in each and every lifetime that you've ever had, and every lifetime that you will have. Or at least that's the theory, right? And you don't have to completely hold true to that. Just to understand that the Akashic energy holds all of your vibrations that you are willing to connect to. So even if it's just this lifetime, it helps you deal with energy that's from your past that you've been having difficulty with. So with the Akashic energy, we can connect to limiting beliefs, ideas, or thoughts that really have been keeping us, like little obstacles from being who we are meant to be. And lots of times we have these and we don't even know it. We don't know that somebody said to us when we were 3 that, let me think of something. that the color green is bad. So all of a sudden you don't wear green, you don't like green, you don't like people who wear green, and you don't know where it came from, but you just don't like green. And somebody's like, well, why don't you like green? It's like, I don't know, I just don't like it. So lots of times if we don't have a rationale for our belief, it's because we didn't create the belief in the first sense. So this can go back to one of the things that I love to use the Akashic energy for is phobias. Because a lot of things that we're afraid of, there's no rational reason for us to be afraid of them in this lifetime, because we may not have even experienced that thing. So we were discussing this in the second year class this past weekend. So things like fear of spiders, or fear of snakes, or fear of water, or fire, or high places, those can all be connected to these old experiences we've had. Even the smell of patchouli can bother people because it was the incense that was used to cover the smell of the dead, especially during the plague. So that's kind of a rough thing to think about. But there's a lot of people who have a really strong, reaction to smelling it. And they have no reason to. They've never smelt it before. So those are the kind of things that happen when we've got old beliefs and ideas that are still running in our sort of computer software as it is. And the Akasha is a way, if you use the Akashic energy, you can begin to cleanse any beliefs that don't serve you any longer. They may have protected you hundreds of years ago, but they're not so true now. And sometimes this goes to superstitions that were carried on. And, we know that there are times when things aren't really true. Tina saying mine is ants and waters. Yeah. Bugs. This is probably a sensitive subject for everybody. Bugs were used as a torture device in the ancient times, bugs and snakes and rodents, because it would instill so much fear. And because of all that fear, they could get you to talk or get you to say what they wanted you to say. And a lot of people have been drowned in past lives. Some people have been burned. So those fears are realistic from that particular lifetime, but it doesn't mean you have to hold that still in this one. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to the show. So in this energy, the Akasha is, it holds all our beliefs and patterns that we've ever held, that are sort of running in our brain as sequences, and we make decisions and choices based on what's in there. So if you have a set of beliefs that don't work for you anymore, but you've tried really hard to heal them, it may be time to call on the Akashic energy to help cleanse and restore the energy back to its, back to a place where you can actually make your own decision now, whether it's right for you or not. And I'm not talking about taking a giant eraser to your records, because that doesn't work. But I am saying that there are things that are ancient that don't serve us any longer. They were a preventative that helped us stay safe, but it's not something that's even true for us now. So the Egyptians talked to Thoth about how to access that energy. And so you could also call on Hermes. And a lot of people who use the angels will call on Archangel Raphael, because Raphael has a lot of healing abilities. You may call on any of the archangels. It doesn't really matter, is kind of how I'm hearing it. But those may be ways that you've called on the Akashic energy before, or had somebody do it for you. Because there's a number of people who specialize in doing Akashic readings. So they take your energy back and help you look at what's happened before that may be impacting you now. And sometimes just knowing is enough to do the healing. But sometimes it's really good to send healing energy back to those places so that you're not still holding the vibration of fear attached to something that you no longer need to be fearful of. Phew, that's a lot. I hope you guys are getting that. So some of this is about intention. There is a color and a consistency that the Egyptian Akashic energy holds. So the Egyptians basically would call on the Akashic energy, and they visualize the Akashic energy as being this very beautiful purple color, almost the color of my name below us. That's why I picked it today. But it has flecks of purple and black and gold that can be mixed in. So like various forms of purple can be in the flecks, and you can also see the black and the gold. And the way my team was explaining it to my students is that the way you experience the colors has to do with whether it is based in masculine or feminine energy flow. So whether it's the divine feminine or the divine masculine, whether it's on the right side of your body or the left side of your body, whether it came from your father's descendants or your mother's descendants, if it's generational, that kind of thing. The Akashic energy also works beautifully when you have a combination of energy that is showing up in your family. You would talk about it as it runs in your family. So if heart disease runs in your family, if depression runs in your family, if arthritis runs in your family, if alcoholism runs in your family, that term runs in my family. It's letting you know that it is still flowing. That energy is still flowing. It's continuing to run through the family. How cool is it if you could do healing work where you could stop the flow and basically shore it up and dam it up, so that it doesn't work it no longer works anymore. Thank you, Tina, for answering. Yes, we're using Be Live TV as our platform, and we love it here at Star Nations. They work beautifully in sync, and we love that it's not only is it live, but it's recorded like that, and it makes it so easy to share and rebroadcast through YouTube as well, just as that kind of like side note for the conversation that's happening. So yes, you can send it through the generations. And to do generational healing, it takes a little bit of knowledge, so that those are a little more difficult to do on your own. but it is something that my third-year students have just learned, and it's something that I do kind of on a regular basis, because that really can mess with your system. Because if you have this belief that you're destined for something, then that's what you create. But releasing that possibility, it not only uncreates it for you, but it uncreates it for all the future generations. So like your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, you can get that out of there, which is really cool. So with the Egyptians, they envisioned it as like a golden magic egg. And so that you would place the egg in the section of the energy system that needed healing. And then the egg would basically melt. It would combine with your energy and melt, and then sort of spread throughout your energy system. And when it does that, it then sort of like coats through all the layers, and then it moves dimensionally. And it's a really cool thing because it was a strong belief system of the Egyptians, and they called in higher frequency helpers to work with them on that. So some of you might be more inclined to call on goddess Isis or Nefertiti, or maybe you're more inclined to call on like Ra as the sun god. And of course, you can call on Thoth. And you don't have to be specific either. The ancient Egyptians had what they called a star council. So for me, there are times when I feel like it might be Egyptian healing that would best serve the client, or that would best assist in the vibrational frequency that I'm working in. And so I invite the Star Council to come in, guide me, and assist me in how to move forward in the energy. Does that make sense? So thank you so much, Neshi, for responding. So for those of you who know about that I channel, I mean, well, maybe not obviously, but I'm channeling now. My team is reminding me that one of the other things that the Egyptians used quite frequently were essential oils. Sometimes they used them more in a resin powder form, but they really understood the vibrational frequency that they emitted, and it allowed the people, the priestesses and the priests, who were the ones who used it the most, to connect on a fuller and higher level just by using the oils. So if you want to work on expanding your connection, the channeled blends that work really well with the Akashic energy is the Goddess Isis blend, the Goddess Nefertiti blend, the God Ra blend, and then there's another one that's called Release Your Story. And some of you have heard me talk about that before. The Release Your Story really reminds your energy body how to let go of energy you've held on to for a long time. Whether it's in this lifetime or in past lifetimes, it helps you break the energy cycles and the cords of connections to that vibration. And the oils aren't a cure. They are teaching your energy body how to do what it already knows how to do. It's like reminding it, giving it training wheels. This is how I connect to this frequency. This is how I can experience that. And the spiritual blends are really powerful. You only need a little bit. And they like click you in with that connection. And I'm sure there's some people on here who've used them. but they are really fast and furious. And for me, you know, I tend to call in Goddess Isis in this particular way because she is the embodiment of the divine feminine for the Egyptians. And so connecting with her also tends to pull in like Mother Mary and some other goddesses and sort of the divine, even it calls in Gaia, because they're interrelated. Does that make sense? Phew. So Neshi is saying, here's my link. TrinityHealingSanctuaries.com is where you would find any of those healing blends. The spiritual blends actually is what these ones are called. And, you know, if for some reason, I think the Release Your Story may not be on the website, you can always, you know, because I'm careful about who it can, you know, can use it and receive it. But you can always message me here at Chakra Sessions if there's something you're interested in that you can't find on the website. All right. Phew, we're getting there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to think about something that has been prevalent in your life for a long time, or that you know may not just be this lifetime. So, and I'm inviting you to share them here in the feed if you would like to. Kind of like Tina said, you know, when we were talking, she had the ants and the water were her fears. I had the fear of heights for a very long time. And energetically, I was able to connect to a past life when I was in Ireland. I connected to a past life where I was pushed off a cliff and into the water. And as soon as I cleared the energy with that vibration, all of a sudden things got really easy for me to like go up and down escalators and to go up and down a ladder without hyperventilating. I'm still not fond of really tall buildings, but I think that's a rational fear at this point. Like it's okay for me to be afraid of that once in a while. But, you know, I used to be afraid of going over bridges and all sorts of things. Judy says, fear of burning in a fire. I actually got to face that fear this lifetime. My middle son was at a bonfire and tripped and fell into the fire. And so when that happened, you know, his friends, everybody did everything perfectly. The angels were so aligned. They got him to the hospital quickly. The right people were on deck. But I had the past life activation when I walked into the room. So I, you know, I smelt the smells and I did all that. Oh, she's saying I need to refresh again. All right. All right, let me just see if I can drop down. Hold on. I'll be back. So let me know if I'm back. I figure that shows across the black screen. Oh, no, she said sorry. Let me know if I'm back. So I'll leave that there until somebody. Okay, so she's saying that it's fine. Okay. Let me drop that. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to name them. Okay. So here's the thing. You don't have to name them here if you don't want to. That's totally fine. But hold them in your thought process, right? And some of us have relived our past lives, stuff like that. With my son tripping in the bonfire, I got thrown back into that energy and had the opportunity to work through it. So did he, to be truthful, because he had some of that as well. And really, I think everybody who was there, they got to have a different outcome, right? Because they acted quickly and responsibly and made sure that everything happened easily. And, he's left with a couple minimal scars on his arm. One looks like a smiley face, so I feel like it's spirit giving us a hard time. So with Akashic healing, we will do a meditation where we're going to call in the Akasha after we balance our chakras. And I invite you to pick something that you would like healing on. And it doesn't have to all be you, it can be you would like to send healing through the energy of depression that runs through your family. Not that will necessarily work completely in a quick meditation, but it will start sending the intention rippling through with the added vibration that the Akasha has. And know that when we do the healing with Akashic energy, it really allows us to expand and energize. Yeah, that's kind of how they're explaining it. It allows us to sort of reboot our computer so that we start on a more positive intention. So sometimes it's just a matter of changing our outlook. The Akashic energy can help us have a more positive outlook. So if there's anything like that you would like to work on, that would be great. And I love the fact, that people are saying things like anxiety or depression. You can, addictions, addictions run in a lot of families. And even if it's not yours personally, you might have grown up with parents or you might have family members who have difficulty with it. So the Akashic energy flows through, in each and every direction. And it has a very cool sensation that those of you who are really in tune to feeling the energy move, you will have a different sensation, I believe, than you often do. And those who don't, just be aware of how certain things seem to shift. We did a very large, we did healing with Akashic energy with my third year students, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And that one was huge. That was a generational healing along with the Akashic healing. And then my second year students did Akashic healing this weekend. So this is all a big connection for us because this isn't just about us. This is about spreading the healing through our vibration in each lifetime and through our family lineage. So in a way, this is a way for us to do and begin some planetary healing just from our own energetic perspective. That makes sense? So you can imagine, fear of bugs, for instance. If you want to send healing through your fear of bugs to each and every lifetime that you've ever had it, and know that just a regular healing goes 7 generations backwards and 7 generations forward. And then we look at how many lifetimes, and we do the 14 times that and the 14 times that. You can kind of see that this could go a long way. Okay, so let's get ourselves nice and comfy. I'm just going to take a quick sip. Poo's my totem animal. Got to call Poo in. So you want your feet flat on the floor, or you want to lay flat on the floor, because this is very much calling in a higher frequency healing, and we want to be very connected to the earth so that the energy that we're healing flows through us and flows through the earth and then out in each direction that it needs to. And I'm going to make clearing noises that sound like burping or sometimes squawking. And you may even hear the Ancient One talk through me, because sometimes he gives additional directions to your soul. So just know that may happen. So we're going to begin by calling in the divine, however you perceive that, whether you connect to God or goddess or creator, all that is, oneness, consciousness, however you connect and perceive the divine. I invite you to call that in for you in this moment. And we ask the divine energy to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And we hold the intention that this healing and teaching is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. Okay. And now invite in your spiritual team, your angels, your guides, your ancestors, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you in this moment. Good. And remember, you can connect to the Star Council or any other energy that connects you to the ancient Egyptian energy or the similar frequency of that. And we're going to just begin by making sure that our chakras are nice and balanced. So we're going to start at the crown, at the top of our head, and just invite the crown to be nice and open and connected to the divine healing energy in each and every dimension and vibration. And then bringing the energy into our forehead, into the third eye, and really opening and expanding our connection to our spiritual team. Good. Opening our perception and allowing our senses to work together as a team with our intuition in a fuller and more complete way. Good. Good. And bringing the energy into the throat and really expanding and allowing the authentic voice and authentic truth to be spoken and to be heard. And releasing any words that have gone unspoken and the hold they may have upon us. Yeah. 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 Now moving into the heart and making sure The heart is holding all of our love, compassion, and support.
Yeah.
Open to all the divine possibilities and the ways to express them more fully and lovingly in our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And moving into the third chakra, right below the rib cage, and really connecting ourselves to our personal power, our inner strength, our inner knowing, releasing any energy that has created obstacles from our sense of being, our sense of knowing of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And connecting to our second chakra right below the belly button, and really allowing our energy to be full and complete in all of our relationships and our interactions with others. And allowing us to honor all of our emotions and how they guide us in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And moving into our root chakra below our tailbone, and balancing and connecting our sense of safety and security and wholeness within our tribal family and community. And really allowing our energy to connect deeply within the earth plane, connecting to Grandmother Earth at her heartbeat, through all the layers of earth and rock and crystal. And inviting our connection to be even deeper and fuller and stronger with her than we've ever experienced before. And now taking a moment to focus your intention on whatever you would like to clear that limits your beliefs, that limits what you are able to do and who you are able to be, that is connected through lifetimes or generations. Those beliefs that run through you but no longer serve you. And we're going to invite the ancient Akashic healing energy to be placed within our heart. And you may sense the egg shape being placed there. You may feel the melting sensation as it spreads through your chest and up and down your hara line. And that beautiful purple flecked energy flows like a thick river in both directions, above us and below us. And you may notice that it has moved up your throat and your head, behind your eyes and to the top of your head. And you may have noticed it filling in your belly and down in your pelvic floor and moving all the way down your legs, knees, ankles, and feet, and down your arms, through your fingertips. And it moves through your aura, the personal bubble that surrounds you, healing in each and every direction, in each and every dimension, and giving it space to move through any physical beliefs, any emotional or mental beliefs, maybe even spiritual beliefs. And as it moves out, even beginning to cleanse and restore the karmic debt that may be attached to this energy that has been running through you or through your family for a very long time. And just inviting your spiritual team and the Star Council to continue to direct the healing wherever it is needed within you. And wherever it is needed within your lineage. And just take a moment to feel the energy, to feel yourself, to feel the calm that is choosing to spread. And take a moment of gratitude for the healing energy being shared today, for your team guiding you and helping you today.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Begin to bring yourself back to the moment. There's no grounding necessary unless you were really ungrounded. But just bring yourself back to your awareness. You can rub your feet on the floor, rub your hands together, stretch, yawn, whatever helps you feel present in your body.
Yeah.
All right. So, how you guys doing? This is a slow healer. So this is one that will take days, weeks, for you to really sense the shift or sense the movement. But I will tell you that when we did the healing last weekend, not this past one, the one before, by Thursday, it had already impacted one of my children in a very large way. And so that was really cool to see that energetic shift moving through in such a way that he was placed in a choice to heal it as well. Actually, I saw it in my older son too, even quicker because he lives here at the moment. So that it hit him by, I think it was Tuesday. And actually hit my mom by Tuesday. So just know that you may have a sense of energy sort of shifting outward. And maybe you won't have an awareness at all. It depends what you chose as your intention. But there'll become a knowing that, wait a minute, that used to bug me. Why doesn't it bug me now? You are welcome, Christine. I'm glad you made it, Barbie. Good to have you here. So the ancient Egyptians really had a lot of healing energy that they tapped into. But it was the ones who were the priests and the priestesses at the temples. So it's not that it necessarily spread through the entire culture. It was kept within a certain community. And, you know, as with anything, other people can be threatened by that power or that ability. So there's that. There's that happens. And it can block us from really being able to, you know, keep the knowledge alive. But it is the ancient Egyptian healing energy, especially around the Akasha and the sacred geometry, are really beginning to vibrationally resurface. So it is something that you can learn about and start to tap into and to co-create with when you understand it. So one of the things that I invite you to do is to find things that are patterns or beliefs that you have that you've carried on through your family that maybe just don't feel true for you anymore. I have my students keep a book. They really work on it in the third year, especially. And they keep a book of rules, is what we call them. And the book of rules are these ideas that we followed and without question for a long time. And they come up every so often for us to check and see if we still believe them. You know, I'm still going to choose to look both ways before I cross the street. Still a good rule. It's still one that I feel keeps me safe. Just saying. But there's some others that maybe I don't fully believe in, I guess, you know. Can't bring any to mind because I keep wiping them out. But there are certain ones that people have that, you know, there's rules that their religion may have that they don't believe all of them. Or we all have different versions of how we view the divine. Do you see the divine as an energy that's going to punish you if you're bad? Do you believe in heaven and hell? Do you believe in a God with unconditional love? And then at the same time believe there's conditions on that love. So sometimes we have energy that's not, it's at cross purposes that's flowing through us. And then we don't realize it until we bump up against it. So that is what you would use the Akashic healing for. And the cool thing about it being recorded here is, guess what? You can watch it again, the meditation again, to help you when you want to move something. It'll be here on Chakra Sessions page. As soon as we're done, it'll be there fully recorded so you can watch it from the beginning. And it'll be on our YouTube channel, on the Star Nations YouTube channel. So Star Nations, and you click on, you know, You look for chakra sessions, and there I am. Okay? So when you want to tap into the ancient Akashic energy, remember to really open yourself to all the possibilities that can create. And again, you can use some of the spiritual blends that I've channeled to help remind your energy how to connect to that. Whether you connect through Isis or Nefertiti or Ra, or even just release your story, because all of them will work for that purpose of helping you move the energy lovingly through you. So that's kind of it for this week. So there's all sorts of stuff that goes on here at Star Nations. So Neshi has her live show that is a card reading of, actually, I think it's 3 cards today. That will happen at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Tonight is her show, Communications from Home, and that's at 8 p.m. And tomorrow you can watch me again at 7 p.m. But tomorrow night is the Soul Connection show. And that is, my job is to connect you to your soul, to your spiritual team, and help navigate whatever healing intention you would like to help you. And you can actually do the Akashic one again if you would like. And then afterwards, I call in divine messages through card readings, and I read cards for everybody who asks for one until we are complete. And at the moment, that tends to be 40 to 50 people or so, though we've gotten up to 55, so who knows? So if you feel called to that, join us. We start at 7, we end by 9 usually, but as I said, we go until we're done. And with that, you guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will see you again here on Star Nations Radio Network. Bye.